We're live and no one can stop us.
It's too late now.
Anyway, so you were saying?
Oh no, I was just saying how like in the mid 2000s, like Trent Reznor, um he promoted one of his next album by no shit leaving like a USB stick in a bathroom in one of his concerts, and when someone took it home, it was like a spectrogram, and when they like deciphered the spectrogram, like it was just like a weird noise, like it was like almost like white noise, but when they deciphered it, it was just like a hand like reaching down from like above kind of thing, and there was like a message underneath it. I was like, it's just like such a long shot. Like I'm gonna leave this thing in the bathroom.
What if nobody got it?
Or nobody or like somebody pissed on it and just ruined the USB stick? It's because like it's a bathroom in a concert.
Talk again. Like, can you tell me another story? I just want to make sure the levels are right for you.
I can't say that same story.
No, tell me. There you go. Fine, sorry. Good enough.
Oh, okay. All right. That's all I needed.
All right, let's do the 3, 2, 1. Record. Ready?
Okay. All right.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, that did too late.
Wait, what? We're doing. Are you been recording this whole time?
Oh, I haven't been recording.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Record.
Right.
3, 2, 1. Record.
Recording. All right.
Okay, cool. And then we gotta do the 3, 2, 1 sync at the same time.
Okay.
No, you're gonna say the word sync. We're not gonna clap.
Oh, okay. Okay.
3. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Sync.
Sync.
Okay, cool.
Right. Sync. Test.
All right, my wavelength is good. We are live. We have 4 viewers somehow.
Jesus. No.
No pressure, Andrew.
They're gonna see all the raw audio.
All of it.
No.
And all the mistakes and everything.
I don't want to be part
No
of
pressure,
this
Andrew.
anymore.
We're going live, bitch.
I'm gonna throw up.
Let me share. Should I share to every group I know?
If you really want, if it makes you feel better.
It does a little bit.
By the way, just started playing Ghost of Tsushima after like 2 months, and I'm still proud of the fact that I can end all of my duels with a perfect parry. So
I love perfect parry.
I don't know. I actually think it's a gameplay thing where they like increase the window for a perfect parry on the last strike in a duel significantly, just so you feel awesome.
Oh, really?
I think so. I feel like it's that way.
Probably. I mean, the whole game is about giving you that. Oh my god.
The whole like samurai thing. So
Yeah. Anyways, so here we go. You ready?
yeah.
And welcome to another episode of Attack of Opportunity. Today we're doing it live and recording it for the future.
From my end, like your and cut out really quick, so it sounded like it was just in the background. So it was like,
Of course. Andrew, today we're talking about
hags.
maps. We're talking about maps.
Shit, I was not at all prepared for this episode.
Okay, we can talk about hags now. We're never gonna talk about maps.
No, I'm not prepared for that episode either.
I wasn't prepared for anything.
I wasn't prepared for anything. I spent most of my day yesterday hungover.
Oh man! All right, play the music.
Yeah, it's gonna work great for a live audience. We're just like,
we don't have music. We don't have that production value yet. All right, Andrew.
We need to have like a spinning title card and stuff like that. It's
I'm
just
trying.
like our faces like
That's like one of my projects. Yeah, just like it like pops out the name.
yeah.
One day, I'm working on it. Oh, there's like a glare. What the hell?
Yeah, it's called the sun.
Look, it's
What's
something in
that?
my face.
What's that orb of light that's like making my life miserable?
It's a ghost.
D.
Anyways,
Yeah, it's a ghost. It's a ghost.
does it bother you? It's on my face. Look at that.
It doesn't bother me, but if it bothers you, just close the shades, dude. That's what they're there for.
You can make it stand up.
It's that fucking Ghost of Christmas Past again. There, now your face is glareless.
Oh, there's glare in my glasses now.
Jesus Christ. Okay, look, I'm sorry you didn't look like a J.J. Abrams Star Trek film. My bad.
More sunflowers, please. Anyways, as tradition dictates,
Even more camera flares.
before we get started, we have to talk about the most important thing in our lives. Our girlfriends. I mean, beer. Interchangeable. What are you drinking today?
I am drinking something that I actually had in the fridge since the Metallic episode, where I'm like, I'm gonna save this one for the Metallic Dragon episode last year. and you were like, hey, can we record the Metallic Dragon episode at like 10 in the morning? I'm like, well, fuck, I can't drink beer then. So, I mean, I can, but I'll get some weird looks. Hold on.
Yeah, from me.
I am having Florida Avenue Brewing Company's Passion of the Height wheat hibiscus ale. And I'm assuming what the heights they're talking about is Seminole Heights. That's a real big like hipster place now to be. Like it got gentrified, I want to say like 10 years ago, and there's like a shit ton of breweries around there now.
Bunch of hipsters. I went to a brewery yesterday, actually. For some reason, I didn't actually bring. That would be perfect to bring a beer from there. Share.
I was actually expecting you to bring a beer from.
I didn't think about it. I was way too drunk and way too full. I had so much food.
Completely understandable.
Yeah. Today I'm drinking a Orange Blossom honey pilsner.
Ooh.
Yes. I managed to get my huge back stock of beer off of my fridge. I invited a bunch of friends over, and I just gave them everything. So here, just have this. We watched The Room, and the stuff started the same day. So I was like, "Here, you're gonna need this for the movie."
Yeah, you really are. What was kind of disappointing was that we got one of those like sampler things of like Samuel Adams. It was like like the Boston Lager, blah blah blah. But then it had like Cold Snap, and it had something called Alpine Lager, and I really wanted to try that because it seemed intriguing. And
Alpine Lager.
Yeah, and I had it, and it tasted just like a beer. I was like, oh.
They had a Sakura brew. I can't remember the exact name of it. It was interesting because it didn't taste like beer. It was so light. It didn't have it didn't have like a bite or anything. It was like very smooth, and it legit tasted like what Sakura smells like.
Now, when you're saying Sakura, are you talking like cherry blossoms?
Cherry blossoms, yeah.
Interesting.
No, Sakura from Naruto.
Hey, you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know what kind of weirdos there are out there making beers.
Bunch of weirdos. They do the Naruto run to the bathroom. Kristen is judging you for drinking Samuel Adams.
Why?
Yeah, Kristen, why? She also
any beer.
She also told me to take it off. Oh, my glasses, not my shirt.
Any respecting beer nerd owes a debt of gratitude to Samuel Adams. I went into this before, but
they're the one who kept the microbrewery going, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. By donating their hops, not selling.
That's crazy.
Straight up giving to them. So yeah.
Anyways,
whether you like it or not,
we have 8 viewers somehow. This is not a beer podcast. This is a Dungeons and Dragons podcast.
Oh, my friend. Yeah, you're right.
No, Andrew, I told you, we can't market the other one.
This is really good, by the way. I would recommend this.
I think I've had it before, actually.
The hibiscus is not super overpowering.
I love that.
I have had a hibiscus. What's it? It was like a hibiscus sour, I think it was, and it was just like pure hibiscus.
Chris and I had a sugar plum sour yesterday, bro. It was so good.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, I was very surprised because I was expecting it to be because I forgot the name of the one I had. I had one that came in a can. It was a really pretty can. The best can. I know more about cans than anybody else.
It's the best can.
Best can.
Nobody knows better about cans than I do.
And dude, it tasted legit like Jolly Ranchers with nitrogen and that's it.
Yeah. I can get behind that.
No, it was not good. It had like a metallic weird.
Oh, okay.
taste to it.
It tastes like Jolly Ranchers. And
No,
it was, like,
if it
sweet and shit.
Yeah,
Oh,
I should have.
good.
I
No,
should have.
it was awful.
Yeah, I should have not led with the Jolly Ranchers because I love Jolly Ranchers.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I mean, it's a sour, so I'm like, okay. Like, I'm kind of on board so far. Now, if you said it was a stout and it tastes like Jolly Ranchers, then yeah, I would have threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So-
dude. I went in there because they had two stouts. They have a milk stout, and they had a chocolate stout. And I was like, man, I really want this because it was super cold in the morning. It was like perfect for a stout. And we're driving there. We're in the car, so we have air conditioning. And then we get there, and as soon as I get out, I had like a denim jacket on, and the heat of the sun was just like
Oh, that's
killed my mood completely for a stout.
We went to a mall yesterday because I needed to get some new shoes. I just had overdue for them, and it's like, oh, it's gonna be like 60 degrees outside. Like, we can wear our jackets and stuff, but the mall was outside, and so even though it was 60 something degrees outside, we were like,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
from the heat of the sun.
yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah. Because I was like, I look so cool with my little jacket, and then as soon as I stepped out, I was like, I am not wearing this jacket. It's way too hot right now.
Nope. Those jackets and hoodies came off almost immediately.
Yeah.
As soon as we stepped out of the car.
Anyways, so the reason why we're here, Andrew, the most important thing in the world for anybody who plays any tabletop games, any game, board games, card games, anything. The most important thing that you need, the ultimate, the most anticipated episode ever from Attack of Opportunity. We have mentioned this since day one. We've been
Have we?
Yes, I think we actually have. We've been hinting.
Play that really bad audio while we were using those headsets.
we hit,
want to talk about maps.
maps or mapas, as the citizen said in Spanish.
Or spam if you say it backwards.
Huh?
Yeah.
How about that? Yes,
So-
today we're talking about maps. Finally, Andrew, maps.
So maps.
What is it made of, and how do you eat it?
The song by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs is a 2002
Andrew,
what?
Andrew, you misunderstood the email. We're not talking about maps from the yes. We're talking about
Great
maps.
song.
It is a good song,
It's a fantastic song, actually.
but we're talking about maps in gaming, bro. More specifically,
so-
tabletop gaming.
All right, let's get serious. Let's bring in the camera, dim the lights.
Let me zoom in with the camera.
Yeah. Just pick up the computer, bring it closer. So, maps. It's one. I actually tried to look up the history of when they started to use the grid maps specifically, because I can kind of pinpoint when they started to use the hex maps, but the grid maps was just kind of like, it was kind of always there in D&D.
Well, because technically that's kind of how the war games, it developed from war games and the maps that they used to use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, specifically the war games that made that kind of, oh my god, here we go. Sorry for our viewers. So
we can't edit this out, Andrew. Come on.
no, we can't.
Get your shit
So
together.
I'm trying. Give me a second. Quit interrupting me. Anyways, so the war games that kind of germinated the idea that brought about D&D, like the games like Chainmail and stuff like that, they used hex maps. Specifically, I think the oldest example of a game that uses hex maps was a 1961 board game simply called Gettysburg. And yeah, and it's about Civil War, obviously. And it's one of those games that has like 15 minutes of setup, but like 6 hours of gameplay. It's like a military strategic game, kind of like Risk. But again,
kind of like Axis and Allies.
no, because it's 15 minutes of setup and 4 hours of play,
Not
4
2 hours.
of setup and 15 minutes of, this is boring. Let's play something else.
Do you remember that day?
Then again, we were like 17.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure if we go back to it, we're gonna have like the general hats and the little things to push the soldiers across the board and stuff.
Which
like
I want to
that.
give it a shot because now we've set up way harder games and more complicated stuff. So
Yeah.
Axis and Allies is probably just like, oh, okay, here's your
Mm-hmm.
resources. Figure out what to do with it.
While
Oh,
Us and Them by Pink Floyd in the background.
yeah,
uh, but that kind of pinpoints when hex maps came into play, and apparently from what I've learned, because I tried to do a little digging into when maps were being used in D&D, and it's kind of it's sort of like a weird like ethereal subject, because it's just like it's kind of always been there, but it hasn't, because apparently from what I've read, first edition D&D was very vocal, like very verbal, like a lot of verbal communication,
like
just
theater
like
of the mind.
yeah, like from what I could be completely wrong, but just from what I've read, because I never played first edition D&D, because I'm not like 50, so
More like 60.
yeah, probably. But yeah, so apparently from what I've gathered, that first edition D&D, like your characters were pretty much disposable. Like there was no like worrying about backstories and crap like that. It was just like, hey, you're in this dungeon and you come across the goblin. What do you do? I attack. Okay, the goblin retaliates. You're dead.
Oh, so it was more like the old school Dungeons and Dragons text based games on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah,
it was just like, okay, got it. So it's not like, oh, I go here, I do this. It's more like this
yeah,
happens. What do you do?
yeah. Like you're not really worrying about the range of spells, kind of a thing. That probably didn't come into play until like AD&D. And that's when they actually started to use grid maps and whatnot. So that's our map episode. So make sure to talk more about beer than we did maps.
Andrew, we've been preparing for this for 3 years.
Have we?
Yes.
Yeah. Even before we had the, you know what? We need to talk about
One
maps.
day we will
But I
make
don't
a
want-
podcast about maps.
But I don't want to. I don't want it to be our opening argument. I want to. I want to make about 30-something episodes beforehand, and then we start talking about maps. That sounds like a solid plan.
Well,
I like that.
That's a good history to it, which I didn't know that the original D&D was mainly voice based. Like there was not really like a lot of strategy and special awareness when it came to like battles and stuff like that. I kind of like knew like the origin of the maps and where it came from. However, I didn't know that grids were just always there and hexes were the original like war game maps. Which brings me to our first and most important point, Andrew.
Hexes
Grid
or grids?
or hex?
Okay, so another thing I want to say. I think the reason why AD&D went more into maps was because it was made to be more rules crunchy. So they probably did have like grid based maps for D&D, like first edition D&D, but it's probably just more like a reference point. Whereas like AD&D is like, no, you need to be this close away from, or
Right.
this far away from ball. Okay, anyways, grid versus hexes. Which camp are you in? Let's start the debate, because I already know what you're gonna say. I think.
I'm definitely gonna be on the hexes side of things.
Really? Okay, never mind. Debate over. Hexes wins.
No, I'm kidding. Grids. No, I don't have a preference. I really don't. Okay, so grid is like the stuff that I know because that's what I learned in the 5e Player's Handbook. They do mention hexes, which it makes more sense because it gives you more options to move around. It makes it more clear as to how you move and how distance and whatever diagonal rules and all that kind of stuff. But like, we play a lot of oh Jesus, gross. We play a lot of Theater of the Mind, and we moved to tabletop, a virtual tabletop Roll20. The problem is that in the virtual tabletop Roll20, there's not really an option for hexes, so we've been playing with grids the whole time. And every map that comes in a pre-made module is grid, so that's what I'm used to. And there's always a scale. It's either 5 or 10 feet, like each square is, which by the way, when it's 10 feet, it's kind of weird because technically it's supposed to fit 2 tokens in there, but it doesn't. Very strange. Anyways, I like grits with shrimp because
And a little bit of Gruyere cheese.
that is the point, really. And then you just add a little bit of butter on top of there, some green onions, and maybe some
Little bit-
shallots, very, very, very thinly sliced.
Or red pepper flakes, just a little bit.
I haven't had it with red pepper
kick.
flakes, but it's so good. That is the best grits I've ever had. Anyways, what were we talking about?
I don't know, breakfast.
Anyways, grits. That's all I've known. That's all I know. The only time I've used hexes was in a hex crawl when we were playing Tomb of Annihilation, but that was like a world map view of the world. And it did explain like it was a way different scale, way different. But I haven't used it in battle.
Right.
So for me, it's just that's what I know. You know.
I want to say there is an option to use hexes in Roll20, but I think it has to be when you're making a map, like from scratch. I think you had to select the option. I want to say, I could be entirely wrong.
I was like looking it up, and people were like complaining about it because there wasn't really like a thing, you know.
Really?
Yeah, like people were like an actual. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't care. Grids are better.
Okay, so here's my argument. I like grids. I think grids are okay, but the only problem is I feel they're a bit sterile. I guess like it's a bit too cut and dry. Like, oh, okay, I'll just move 3 blocks up and 2 blocks like this way. Or I said 3 blocks up and I moved whatever.
We know what you mean.
Yeah, and whereas hexes kind of gives you like a bit of a more natural feel. I was actually reading this. I was reading this article yesterday about why people prefer hexes over grids, and it was actually pretty enlightening, because it was like if you have a grid, like you're in a 5 foot square and you have all these other 5 foot squares around you, the ones in the corner are actually like 10 feet away from you. Instead of being 5 feet away. Whereas if you're in a hex, all the other hexes are exactly 5 feet away from you. So I mean, there is that,
which makes sense to me.
Yeah. That being said, though, I think grids really work in a sort of like building scenario. Like if you're in a building or in a road or in like a city or something like that, and there's like clear cut lines on where you have to go, grids work better. But if you're in some place like a forest or
Like Chult.
Yeah, like Chult, or just like in a world map in general, like I feel like hexes work a lot better, because it just feels more natural. Like, yeah, you might not be walking a straight line. You're probably going to be following the path of least resistance. And in terms of a battle map, I would probably use hexes if it's like a forest, or like that, or like the where are we at right now in Avernus? The Bones Bramble.
Yeah, Bones Bramble.
Yeah. I think the hexes would work great in that, because it's just the paths are all winding, and the grids are kind of
Don't align. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's like a square peg and a circle hole, like quite literally.
That's literally what it is.
Yeah. So I think the hexes would work great in that. Just it kind of gives like a more natural feel. Also on top of that,
why do you think grids then are like the standard in the? Because okay, here's the thing, I'm a friend with one of my friends. His name is Mike, and he's a board game designer, and he will kill you over hexes.
Like he doesn't like hexes?
No, he loves it. Like if you use anything else on your board game, you're wrong.
Right.
Even if you look at the games that he has designed, they're not the table is not a rectangle. They're usually either a circle or a hex.
Okay.
And I need to ask him. Maybe that would have been a good interview for this episode. Why hexes over grid for him? Because like ever since I met him, he's just like hexes. If your board game doesn't have hexes, you're wrong. Type situation, you know. And
Get that garbage out of my face.
He's gotten signed at WizKids and stuff, you know. So he knows his shit.
I think the reason why grids took off the way they did was just because it's easier. It's easier, and it's a lot. And this is probably going to roll into another topic that we're going to discuss, but it's a lot easier for people to make maps based on a grid than it is based on hexes. Yeah. Because whereas to make a grid-based map, if you don't have grid paper, to make a grid-based map, all you need is a sheet of paper and a ruler. You just you know, whereas to make it like a hex, you're like, no, hold on, wait, did you get it? Tilt it. So it's just it's probably just for ease of use, and it might also be like, especially for like interior maps, it might be to follow like kind of like a blueprint feel. But I mean that's the only thing I can think of.
Well, honestly. Yeah, I can see it totally working. Yeah, no, I think grids will work a lot better in dungeon setting, because most dungeons they're carved, like they're legit squares and hallways, and I think that aligns a lot better than a hex would. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
And I mean, and you also have to think like there is something in the back of the human mind that wants that kind of organization, where it's like, okay, here's an obstacle. It takes up two squares instead of like one hex and a bit of another hex, like kind of a thing. So it's just like, boom, it's a perfect. Just make an outline, and this is the trap. It's this long, kind of a thing. It's kind of like that Tetris sort of feeling,
Yeah.
where it's like where it's everything can be perfect and whatnot. So I mean, it's, again, especially for an interior or like a carved dungeon setting, like a made dungeon setting, then yeah, grids will probably be a lot better, and hexes will feel out of place.
So what I'm hearing here is that they both have their places on the table.
Mm-hmm. They both have their place. They both have their place on the table. I prefer hexes, but I don't see that working a lot. You know.
Oh, I think I remember what Roll20 does, because Roll20 allows you to have a hex grid, but the overall way that the tokens work, it's still a grid. So like it doesn't align properly, and that's what's making people angry.
Oh, that's come on. That's such an isn't an easy fix. I feel like that should be an easy fix.
let me call my friend in a Roll20 developer team here. 1 second.
Yeah, my dad works at Roll20. I haven't talked to him in 12 years,
but he works there.
Yeah. I mean, it would just be really weird to see a world map with a grid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a big city map with a grid.
Well, Waterdeep had a grid.
Maybe that was a bad example. Okay, like maybe like a world it would weird. It would be weird to see like the map of Barovia with a grid.
Barovia, so Barovia was hexes. I can't remember right now.
Barovia was totally hexes.
Oh, okay. Because
yeah,
if I remember correctly, Schult was hexes, and I think the map of the Sword Coast was hexes as well.
It just works better that way.
Yeah,
it's like a big sprawl, like because the paths that you're gonna make in real life, they're not gonna be like 3 feet to the left and 12 feet up. I'm like, no, it's gonna be, hey, there's this log in my way. Okay, just go around it. And that's that's how paths are made. Natural paths. So yeah, I in a when you take a map and you pull it all the way out to where it's like a global scale, it's going to be hexes. Like you're not going to be going directly north. Like you might be going a little bit to the northeast or something like that. So yeah.
No, I think I can agree with that. But thank you for proving the points that grid are better than hexes.
However, another thing I was thinking of, like using hexes in combat would be really interesting for range spells, like especially cone spells, because it's like now you can just kind of divvy up, like because you can always be like, they can go this amount of cubes, and then it's like this weird precise like triangle, like cone of cold is like this perfect isosceles triangle, where now it's like a hex. It actually feels like a bit like a shotgun blast. Like there's a bit of like maybe that goblin to the left got it, but the one right here did, and he's like,
it's like almost touching type situation.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it just feels more dynamic as well.
Is there any tabletop games or any tabletop RPGs that use hexes over grid that you know of?
Primarily, not that I.
It's mostly grids, right?
Not that I'm aware of. Not for tabletop RPGs. There's a ton of board games that uses hexes, but tabletop RPGs I can't really think of.
Does Starfinder? No, that's still. I mean, I think they still give you the option of hexes, right?
Starfinder if I remember correctly, Starfinder uses grids for combat, normal combat, but then it uses hexes for like space combat,
which makes sense
because you can have spaceships.
So what I'm learning here is that hexes is for big scale, and grids are for small scale, like dungeon crawls and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. That's like where each of them have their places.
Or if you want like a more natural feel, you can put hexes on a smaller map, like a forest kind of a situation, or like a cave, so something like that.
So now, let's talk about the next thing, which is what made me want to make this video. Once upon a time, I got done with Tomb of Annihilation, and it was amazing. Every single map was beautifully crafted. It was detailed. It had shading, color. It told you, my players were like, "Ooh, what is that thing here? What is that thing there?" Like, this is amazing. Wow, look at this. Oh, that's scary. I don't want to go there. Very, very, very beautiful maps. And then I moved on to, and then I moved on to Waterdeep Dragon Heist, and I bought it. And I'm like, cool, I can't wait to run this. And I went, and I saw the first map. And I'm like, oh, well, that's weird. Okay, it was probably because it's a small tavern. Let me go to the next map. Oh, why is everything hand-drawn and single color without shade or detail? Let me go to the next map. Oh, they're all like this. What a shame. So, Andrew, you told me, get over yourself and just play with those maps, which I did. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I can deal with this. And as soon as you guys saw the first map in that adventure, everyone is like, oh, wow, this is weird.
Yeah, and then we immediately got over it. So,
which is fine.
Let me tell you, the quality of the maps was the one thing that ruined that whole adventure. It was a perfect, like 10 out of 10 adventure, but man, those maps really sunk it.
Well, you say that, but then we played Curse of Strahd, which had great maps. You know, beautiful crafted, illustrated.
But okay. Here.
Well, hold on. And everybody was like, cool, no problem. Yeah, let's go through the whole thing. Vesemir's an asshole. And then
he is.
And then we moved on to Descend into Avernus, which I'm like, oh, this is going to be freaking hell. It's going to be amazing. So cool. Wow. And then, wow. I'm going to show you the map of where you are right now.
Where we're at right now. Here's all the encounters.
Like, wow, look at that. Look at this beautiful map of Baldur's Gate. Oh, man. Look at that map.
Okay.
It's hand-drawn with a little bit more detail than Waterdeep.
Okay. I'm actually going to pull up some evidence on why this argument is bullshit, because you said that you found some high-res maps for the adventure. And I think the very first session we used just like normal maps, and we were like, oh, okay, it's going to look like this. And then, like, the second session, you pulled up the high-res maps, and you're like, hey, do you notice a difference? And we're all like, oh, well, oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No, it was, no.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No,
yes,
you're twisting the truth. Here's the thing. Yes. I moved you to a new map.
It is, folks.
Yeah, I moved you to a new map, and you guys you didn't say anything. It's like, oh, you noticed something. I was like, no, whatever, right?
No, but none of us noticed.
Right. You're right. And until I mentioned it, you're like, okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, sweet, blah, blah, blah. And then I moved you back to the regular maps, and I asked you all, what do you guys prefer? The previous map or this type of map?
You could have just used the normal map and no one would have said anything.
But that's not the thing. I'm trying to get you guys involved in the story and, like, you know, sucked by it. And how can I do that with, like, this shitty ass map? You look, okay, maybe, okay.
Theater of the mind.
That's fine. If you're on tabletop, Theater of the Mind works great, right? Because, yeah, whatever. We use just a grid paper and then whatever. It's fine. But when you're on Roll20, you don't have people around you, and they're all just looking at this map the whole time for 4 hours, and it's just white with black lines and barely any detail in it. One thing I noticed, and this is for reals, one thing I noticed was when I was using the Waterdeep maps, you guys barely even explore anything. You guys were like, oh, cool, there's a room here. Oh, there's a door there. I want to open it. Actually, most of the time, you couldn't even tell that it was a door. I had to, like, point it out. But when I was running Tomb of Annihilation, it was constantly like, oh, this looks like a lever. Can I pull that? And I'm like, yeah, it's actually a lever. Oh, what are the bodies on the floor? Oh, it leads. Oh, it was a constantly, like, art illustration maps are way better than sketch maps.
So the argument I'm hearing here is that you don't like hand-drawn maps because you have to work more.
No, because
that's exactly what you just
plain.
said. It's not plain.
It's plain.
There's nothing. Yeah, it's plain, but it's plain in the good way that you can, like, make it your own and stuff. I'm gonna go
back to that episode, and I'm gonna grab that bit that you guys were like, oh, we like the illustrated one better.
But then, okay, but beforehand, you were like, oh, did you notice the difference? And nobody said, like, oh, yeah, this is total. Oh, man, look at the fucking high-res definition on that.
But but you guys said it was way better. because
after you pointed it out.
Oh, I'm sorry, you guys are fucking idiots and you can't freaking tell the difference between the maps.
You hear that? You hear that? He's calling us idiots.
You're all gonna die now in Avernus because of this.
We're all just gonna.
Attack opportunity. So it's done. This is it.
I knew it. I knew it was gonna come to this. I knew it was gonna.
The map episode did it.
I was so afraid of this happening.
We have an episode. Attack opportunity. What really happened?
He's a fucking elitist.
Okay.
All right,
really bad. All right. Okay, hold on. Because I looked up the guy who makes the sketch maps. His art is amazing. Like I will never be able to replicate anything he does.
Right.
That's not my issue. Like those maps work fantastically. My issue is that I'm paying $50 for a book. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I want my maps to look awesome. And hey, some people listen, there's a lot of people out there who like the illustrated maps, and there's very little people there who like the sketch maps.
Well, yeah, because one looks prettier, but they're missing the forest for the trees. It's okay. So
what's the forest and what's the tree, Andrew?
You're not paying just for the maps. You're paying for the adventures. You're paying for the NPCs. You're paying for the magic items and maybe the mechanics that might come with the adventure as well. No, it's not just the maps. The maps is only one part of a greater.
I never said it was just the maps, Andrew. See, look at that. Kevin Fitzpatrick says they really could have done better with the maps. Thank you with Descent into Avernus. Thank you, Kevin.
Let me tell you.
Bring your friends and have them vote.
Bring your friends and have them vote. But it's like you didn't for okay. So let's take the last session of Avernus for example. We did not need a map for almost any of that stuff. Like the bone brambles maybe for like the last 10 minutes, but any of that other previous stuff could all just been theater of the mind. You could have just said there was like a colorful bazaar of like shops and stuff like that. We all been like, whoa, like imagine like flapping in the desert breeze and crap like that. Like getting like the maps are just there to sort of like kind of guide what you think it looks like, but it's like again, it's all theater of the mind. Like it is like things you have to kind of project. And I honestly feel like if the maps are too high detailed, then it kind of makes like if it's like painstakingly detailed to the point that like you don't need your imagination, that kind of ruins the magic of D&D for me personally, because a lot of it is
you're wrong, Andrew.
I'm actually trying to make a serious argument here. because a lot of D&D for me is like seeing how things play out in my head, you know, whereas it's not just a token on a map. You just, all right, I'm going to move over here and I'm going to attack. You know what I'm saying? Like it just
I know what you're saying, and I agree with that 100%. Like the main thing of D&D is it is the theater of the mind. That's why I feel bad because Armando jumped kind of late to the game, right, on us. And we've been doing a lot of like very, very like grid heavy battles, and he never got to explore like the moments where it's like I have noticed that our battles have been very horizontal and not a lot of verticality. Yeah. And before the maps, yes, we had people were like, oh, fucking on top of this tree or whatever, like doing all this crazy ass shit, and you can felt the verticality in the fights. Right. Yes, look at that. Kevin says, I think the community agrees, hence why there are so many Patreons making Descent into Avernus
Kevin
maps.
Needs to shut the fuck up.
Don't listen to him, Kevin. Andrew's just a poo-poo face.
No, okay, so I do agree having high-res maps and having detailed maps are good. I do enjoy looking at, but I'm not going to like poo-poo on sketch maps. Like,
I know. I'm just being an asshole.
I know you are, but I think there's a place for that as well, because it's like my argument for sketch maps is one, it's like you can kind of make it your own, like you can kind of add your own little details and flares to it. Whereas like if it's a high res map and you try to like do something different, there's gonna be something like, well, the map doesn't show that.
Yeah.
Okay,
no,
look, dude.
Yep. 100%.
So there is that, but then also too, it kind of like to me it kind of promotes the idea that's like, hey, if this is good enough for an official like D&D book, like maybe I can kind of do my own thing. And it kind of, I'm not saying that's like the sketch maps are the way to go. I do agree if there's a production budget and stuff like that, they should probably have a higher higher res map thing for adventures going on. But I think it's also kind of like, hey, look, this is how easy it is to make an actual map for a D&D adventure. Like, and I think a lot of 5e stuff, there's always been an underlying message of this is how you can homebrew your stuff.
Yeah.
Go. Like kind of like take, and I think that's why a lot of adventures stop at 10. This is a topic for another episode, but I'm just saying I think that's why a lot of adventures stop at like around 10, 13, maybe a little below that. So it's like kind of, all right, you got these characters, like
I know. I listen. I agree 100%. I feel yes, because when I see the sketch maps, I'm like, fuck, I can do this. Like I can if I have the patience and I sit down and I can probably do this, which is a great feeling. I do agree with that 100%. I feel like it works even better when it's something that is homebrewed, or like a small module or something that's quick, very vague type situation. I do agree with that 100%. But
real quick, Kevin, I didn't actually mean that. If you are listening, I was just kidding. I started to feel bad after I said that.
This is not Kevin, Guzman. This is another Kevin that we don't know.
Yeah, I know.
The one person watching us and you scare them away.
Well, this guy's an asshole. It just clicks away.
1 star. We never get reviews and then we get a 1-star review. Like, damn it. No, but like, no, I see it. It's just the problem with me. It says no, it's all good.
Okay, good. I did mean it.
No, but the thing with me, okay, here's the thing. When I'm reading the book, they describe this really amazing thing, right? Mm-hmm. Which yes, I can describe it to you guys, and for the most part, I think I do. In a terrible way, but I do. Which is great to have that in mind at the moment. Right. But we spent so much time looking at these maps that when it's a blank page, or not a blank page, but when it's a sketch map that is blank, I feel like the details fade out, especially when it's like the tower with the wizard lady in the beginning in Candlekeep.
Okay.
That was not there. That I looked up those maps.
Okay.
I can try and describe to you Candlekeep to the T, which I will butcher. But I show you the map of how intricate it was. And I liked, and I hope that you guys like that. Same with the tavern. It gave you an idea of the spatial, and the lighting and the mood of the tavern and Candlekeep. And then the wizard tower as well. Okay. None of that stuff was there. There's just been a lot of artists that have been doing maps for Avernus because Avernus, especially with Avernus, I feel like Waterdeep wasn't that bad, but Avernus has a lot of locations that don't even get a map. And not saying that like, oh, there was a battle in the tower and it was very important, but I feel like I can describe you the tower and you get an idea of the tower, but if you're just looking at blank or another map or an overworld, it just fades out. And if it's a blank sketch map, I feel like you're like, oh, what was this again? After a while, especially with our group, that our attention span is like gone.
I actually feel like that might be more of a problem of the delivery, not delivery, but I guess like what we're using to play, like because yeah, because you got to think about it, we're using Roll20,
yeah,
and it's like this much of the screen is the map and this much of the screen is like us as like the people. So yeah, you are going to be, so the majority of your view is going to be the map. So yeah, if it is like, I totally understand your argument there, where it's like if you're just looking at the town map for like an hour and a half, yeah, it is easy for people to just kind of like,
yeah,
it's just sort of like phase out. I think that might have been something where if it's like where if it's a tabletop and everyone we're all here in one setting, that would probably be a lot easier for you to delegate because then people can like walk, get up, walk around, get a drink or something like that while you're kind of narrating, and then you as a DM can be able to like act out most stuff. Because like honestly, the one problem I have with Roll20 is that you have a window this small to act out like all the
Yeah.
stuff that and again, it's only from like the chest up.
Yeah, I can't
So
stand up. I can't move around. I can't like. Yeah,
yeah,
it's a weird feeling, and I think that might be into another episode, in
yeah.
person or
So
online. But that's my argument with maps, with the sketch versus the detail. By the way, Robert jumped into the chat. Hi, Robert. He says one of the benefits of more detailed maps is that it helps players visualize more of the scene than they might in just their heads. It's hard to keep details in mind if they're not visually represented. Which
and I
that's exactly what I was trying to uh, 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 say with my ramble a couple minutes ago. It's that like it's a lot of details just fade out if
right.
nothing.
And I get that. I really do understand that. I'm just saying like I think once you reach like a comfortable level of like storytelling and detailing, I think you can kind of start to like shift the weight from maps, because I do understand high res maps are a lot easier for DMs and players to deal with and stuff. But like like the one thing I'm worried about is like sometimes the high res maps give away too many details. You know, like to be like, oh, there's like an obvious trap here because like there's arrow slits or something like, in the map. I mean, I haven't encountered that too terribly often, but there has been some times like when we were running Curse of Strahd or like some other things like that's a trap, and
Yeah.
you could see that coming from a mile away. Like no, you're supposed to make
Yeah,
a
no, I've been there. I think there was a moment
yeah.
in the Ember Temple when there were like arrow slits, and then we saw them as we walked in.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's I mean, and that, I like I said, I can count down on one hand the number of times that's actually happened. But that's the only drawback I really have to say from high res maps, and I just think I'm not going to completely throw away sketch maps. There is a place for them.
Right.
I just think if you are going to have sketch maps and you want to run with sketch maps, you just got to recognize, all right, I just got to put a little bit more work in the storytelling and like detailing.
One thing, and this applies specifically to Roll20 that I enjoy from the illustrated maps, is that when you put the dynamic lighting and you do the lighting correctly for people, so when they're holding a torch or versus a candle or versus night vision or night dark vision, the yeah the tones, the colors, the shading in those maps bring out the lighting so much better, and it makes it makes the mood a lot more like. Remember the Dungeon of the Dead of the Dead 3?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you could see like the water and like the stone. It was very dark and gray and cold. You know, as you guys were moving through it. That map was a sketch map, and if that map was just a sketch map, it wouldn't have felt as cold or as wet, and I would have to like constantly be saying cold and wet and cold and wet and cold and wet the whole time. Well, the map helped me with that a lot because the tone of the sketch combined with the dark vision and the lighting of the players made it look pretty cool. I remember going to like pressing Control L so I could see what the players see, and it felt badass. Like, you know, I think you had the lantern and you can only see like so far, and it faded.
It was like 10 foot. Oh, was it even 10? It was like 10 something, and then like 20 dim. So I was like, I think I see something.
and I enjoy that a lot, especially in Roll20. And I think my argument really is it has a lot to do with Roll20, because if we were playing tabletop, I don't think I will be buying full prints of those maps. You know what I mean? Like, I will have the maps in my book, and then you guys would just have a battle grid to kind of guide you in whatever is happening. But I will have to describe the whole thing.
I will. Okay, I'm gonna say, what's the word? I'm gonna make a concession. I will say high res maps are fantastic for Roll20, because you're right. The lighting system and just kind of like the general mood, it really makes it pop out a lot better, because that's going to be the majority of review on Roll20. But again, on a tabletop setting, like, are your characters even going to see that map?
Yeah, exactly. Because
You know?
for the most part, it's on your book, and you can't show them that.
No, you
know?
can't because the book's gonna be like, hey, look at all these secret doors.
Right. And like
So,
I think when I played tabletop, the most I would show the players was the overworld map. So like the town map or like the Sword Coast map or whatever, and I'll put it on like a screen so they can get an idea. Or when I was playing Tomb of Annihilation, it brought a really big, nice map of Schultz with like the hex crawl and everything that I get to like write in and show them where they were going and all that kind of stuff. So that was fun.
yeah, see, that's the only problem I have with tabletop, and that's actually something I'm really grateful for Roll20, because it's like on tabletop, if you want to show them, if it's really, you have to put in a lot of work to do a dungeon crawl on tabletop, because you can only show so much of the map at a time, and like essentially, if what you're going to have to do is that you're going to have to give someone a piece of grid paper, like, here, you draw the map out as you're exploring it,
right?
Kind of a thing. And it's like, what if nobody wants to do that? And like, oh,
or if you just start spending a lot of time trying to describe what's happening in the map, and it just drags the game down. So, but yeah, I agree. There's a place for both. Again,
yeah.
Wow, that's a lame conclusion. Illustrated maps are better. Screw scratch maps.
We're both right.
How about that? If you listen to the other person, you get an understanding of that person.
It's almost like as if there's two sides to this argument.
Wow, how about that?
No, I will agree. I do think the high res maps are fun, but not entirely necessary.
No.
You know.
Yeah.
To a degree.
Yeah.
So.
No, I can agree with that 100%. So Andrew, if we're just talking kind of a little bit about this, but like when should you show the map to the players?
Never. Leave them in the dark.
If at all. Leave them in the dark, literally.
What? Okay, so when you mean map, are you talking like a world map, or
a world map? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. If it's a world map, I would honestly say unless it's like a really, what's the word, like civilized area, like Waterdeep or something like that, where it would have like a city map, I would actually say never. Like I would
really.
Yeah. If it's like the jungles of Chult, like, yeah, knock yourself out. There's no map. Like,
okay, got it.
Yeah. If it's like in the wilderness, like, no, there's no map. There's actually a map, but there's no map. What are you talking about? But yeah, if it's like a city, yeah, there's gonna be like, I imagine there's like a guard next to like a not tourist. What's the word I'm looking for? Like
visitor center.
But yeah, that's like, oh yeah, come on down to Chult. We totally don't have malaria in the water.
But don't drink it though. And if you do, boil it first. But we don't have malaria.
Either that, or if it's if you're doing like a world map, I would have it to where like you reveal as you're going along, you know, just because my biggest mistake, I felt, well, I feel like I made a lot of mistakes in Curse of Strahd, but one of my biggest mistakes in Curse of Strahd was revealing the world map like immediately, by justifying like one of the NPCs just had a map of Barovia, where I'm like, no, I should have just been like, oh, here's a road, and it goes down this winding path. Which way do you go? Oh no, night hags.
Spooky.
Roll for initiative against this CR15 encounter.
But would you make it impossible for somebody to find that map though? Because if it's a place like Barovia where people have lived there for a very long time, somebody eventually should have made a map. No,
I would say, okay, so and Curse of Strahd, you guys started in the village of Barovia, in the land of Barovia, New York.
Right.
And you had to go to Vallaki. I already forgot the name of
Vallaki,
yeah. And you had to go to Vallaki. So I would say going from Barovia to Vallaki, no world map. Once you get to Vallaki, depending on who you talk to, you might, maybe like the Baron or somebody has a world map or something like that, and then you get like the world map, which would make sense because Vallaki was kind of like your central hub for that adventure. But before that,
this just gave me an idea. Okay, so it would be really cool if you can get a world map, or grab a world map. Right? Let's look back at Barovia, and
accurate.
No, and remove everything.
Okay.
Right. So like, there's a thing in Photoshop called fill content, which you just like highlight it and it like erases whatever is in there, and like.
Okay.
So it erased the image of the town, erased the image of the castle, erased the image of the what's it called, the windmill, and like all these like uh features in the map, right? And just have like some of the roads, like the main road showing, and then erase the rest of like everything that goes out. And I'm thinking, and it might be hard to follow, but I'm thinking of like designer mode, and then have another layer on top of that with the different things, like this one other main road, and then the image of Valaki, and then the image of the castle, or the image of the windmill. Uh,
So,
so for the hold on, and then you put those in the GM layer.
well, wait, shut up.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. This is for the GM layer. So for the players, all they see is just a lot of trees and then a road, right? Because everybody knows that road, but not many people know whatever. And then like an NPC can tell them like, oh, in this general direction here, and it draws on a map like a circle. There's a town, go there. And then you reveal the map, and then as they move, you're like, oh, look, you get to this intersection, and there's a road that goes off here, off to the north, and it actually leads to Strahd's castle. You know what I mean? And then you move that layer from the GM layer to the players so they can see it.
Okay.
Or to the map so they can see it.
So it's like the landmarks pop up as they
as
go
the
by
players
them?
move on. Yeah.
I could totally fuck with that. I would actually that would have been like the perfect way to do that, where it's just like the main road.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. And then you're walking like, wait, this path wasn't on the map.
Right.
Let's go down it.
Yeah, exactly. I think
night hags.
Roll20, if you're listening, I could work for you guys.
Money on the table.
Because
all they had to do was copy and paste the trees.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like legit, that's essentially what it is. Like I could do that. Like I should probably test that for. Do I have another map? No, I don't have any more big maps. Damn it. Because even in a city is different because the map is just a representation. It all looks very different or very the samey. But like, let's say like in Waterdeep, that a big hub center where like a bazaar was. People don't know, or somebody who's new to Waterdeep wouldn't know that there's a cathedral there. So you just erase the cathedral and you just put houses there instead. So for the player, it just looks like a bunch of houses in that general direction. But they tell him to go that way. And then as they move, all you have to do is just move the... I can totally do that. I'm going to fuck with that next time.
See, I think that would have been actually perfect for Avernus.
See, Robert says that he understands. He'll test it. Yeah, test it, please.
Yeah. I think for Avernus that would have been like actually perfect. Where it's just the river Styx and maybe one or two landmarks.
But here's the thing. Avernus is a completely different piece, though.
Oh yeah. We're gonna get into like the inaccuracies.
Yeah, because that map is it was made by essentially a drunk.
Right.
But that map is a lot more stylized though. That map is like, like old pirate ship, old pirates maps. They had like the Hydra and like a big fish and like that kind of. That's what you guys are seeing, just general representations of certain places. What I'm doing right now is I'm just revealing the names as you guys go.
Yeah. God, that would have been amazing to do. Yeah, that actually would be really great. Just like as you're going, like the kind of like fog.
Yeah.
Like, no pun intended. It kind of lifts from like where you're going. Yeah, that would actually be. That would be an amazing way to do world maps.
Yeah.
Just have
and Roll20 specifically, but yeah.
Like here's a bunch of trees. There's probably a civilization in there somewhere.
Right. Well, like the players know that like Strahd Castle is over in this hill, but how do you get there? And like there were roads that would like just start winding all different places. That can confuse the crap out of players.
I would actually shoot that idea toward if there's any way to like contact them. I would honestly shoot that idea towards Roll20. Just like, hey, here's a blank asset map.
Yeah. And if Wizards of the Coast, for example, talks to the artist that is making all these maps, for the artist it's super easy because they're always working in different layers. So for them it's just have the art of the castle separated from the rest of the map, and that's it. Right. They just export it differently. So for them it wouldn't be a big deal.
Well, I mean, especially for like the Barovia map, like the assets of the trees, you honestly could have just copied and pasted like certain parts of it, and you would have gotten away with it.
Yeah.
No one's gonna be like, hey, wait a minute, that pixel
looks like it's photoshopped.
Yeah, no, especially for something like Argynvost Holt, where it's like there's a ruined mansion somewhere in the woods. Like,
what is it?
Yeah, where is it? I don't know because they
That would have
all
been
got
great because
slaughtered.
when we met that revenant and he mentioned it, I was like, oh, it must be this, and I like clicked on the
And you
cast, and it was like,
immediately, yeah, I was like, no, yeah.
yeah, like but like I didn't think about it in that moment, but like at that time my character wouldn't really know.
No.
You know, if the revenant said, oh, east of here, I'm like, oh, there's a lot of stuff down that way.
Yeah,
know?
literally the rest of the world is east of here. Well,
Yeah. You'll eventually stumble upon a type situation.
yeah.
And that also leads to like, oh, the ranger made a really good survival check. Boom, he found it, and you reveal it in the map. It's like, look how far you are, and he found it. Makes the ranger actually feel useful.
That would be a really good way to justify like wilderness travel.
Yeah.
You know, just be like, okay, we went all along the beaten path and we didn't find this. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to just take like almost like literal shot in the dark and just go out there and just find it. And and then your classes like the druids and the rangers can actually contribute something. Which, by the way, those are actually the two recommended classes I would say for Icewind Dale. So just keep
I might play a ranger for Icewind Dale.
I think a ranger would be perfect for Icewind Dale because there's a lot of I'm gonna have to take a lot of notes on this episode alone for wilderness exploration.
Let me describe my character for Icewind Dale. It's gonna be tall, pale complexion, blonde hair, long. He's gonna have, huh?
I'm muting you.
Why?
Because I know exactly you're gonna make Legolas.
No, I'm not. Anyway, so he has 2 swords in his bag, and then a bow that was crafted by an elden maiden.
His name is Regulus.
He wear all green. He's an elf.
I think that would also
his
be
best
really
friend
good...
is a dwarf.
Jesus Christ. No, I think that would be a really good way to get to put a little bit more juice into wilderness exploration because like nobody
needs it, man.
Nobody does wilderness exploration. No. It's like, well, fuck it, why would we? There's a road that's going to lead to the temple.
I tried,
in almost every adventure.
I tried Schultz. Schultz had some mechanics like that, but bro, sometimes I'm just like, oh my god, please kill me. Like I couldn't wait for people to just get to the destination. You know,
that's when you quantum ogre it. Hey, it was here the whole time.
Oh, look at that. Robert says, God, I want to play Icewind Dale so bad.
Well, if you're a good boy.
We got to run with 12 players, right?
Whoa. Right, Andrew? Yeah, it's going to be 5 actual players and 6 players that just act as food when the food runs out.
Thank you for playing. We're going to eat your buddy now. Yeah.
Drown meat tastes like pork.
Man, that's a good idea. Next
what,
time.
Oh.
No, dude, the map thing. I'm gonna try to do that. I said it wouldn't be hard to do. Like I can already see it applied. I just
what I would do if you want to make it to where it's a little bit easier for the players, just like if it's like a big world map, just have it be like, here's the central points of civilization, but everything in between completely blank.
Right.
So it's like whatever they run into, hey, right.
Right. Because like the other thing is like, people are like, oh, but you can use Fog of War and Roll20 to like, but like it's different because revealing just first of all, the eye is not seeing anything. It's just dark. It's just black, right? And then you reveal little squares. It looks like shit. And then eventually they're gonna figure it out because this road just leads here. But when the road is gone and it's just trees, it just looks like trees. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's the feeling I want to get.
And I think that also really works in terms of scale. Like if you just have, okay, here's the character tokens, but then the rest of the world map is this big, but it's blank. You're like, oh wow, there is so much to explore.
Yeah.
I think personally, to me, I'd be like, I want to cover every inch of this map. Like I want to get into every nook and cranny and see what we can find.
Like you see like the general. Sorry to interrupt. You see the general. You see the general features, right? Because let's be honest. Like when you go, I went to the Blue Mountains, whatever, in North Carolina, and we got to the top, and you could see everything, and that's how I feel like adventurers would do. They'll see everything, all the features, right? All the trees. There's a mountain that way, a river this way. There's a main road you can kind of see over here, but they don't see what's under the trees, what's behind the hill. And that's what I want to get with that method that I was talking about.
That would also be a really good way for like survival checks. Like if someone's like, "Hey, I want to climb to the top of this tree to scope out this area." Okay, you see this much, but then like make like a sort of like donut of like this is what you see, but you don't see everything in between because you're so high up you can't see the werewolf den that's directly like
right, exactly.
So yeah, something like that. That'd be really cool.
Then Andrew, you gotta apply this to Ice Window.
That's gonna be difficult.
I can help you, and I'll know everything.
Yeah, I know. That's why. No. I'm just gonna have to. I'm gonna figure something out.
It's not hard. I'm pretty sure you can in GIMP. You can do it in GIMP. It's like a free version of Photoshop.
Okay, I was like, "What's a GIMP?" I mean, I know what a GIMP is, but this is a PG-13 podcast.
They say we're drinking beer. It's okay. It's only for like the first 5 minutes.
I mean, as long as you don't say the word "fuck" too many times.
Yeah, don't say "fuck" too many times.
Oh, that's it. We're rated R. He said it more than twice in a 30-minute period. So, no, that would be actually really cool. I think I'm 100% down for that.
I want to help you. I want to be like, let me help you. Let me clean the maps for you, but I don't want to spoil it for myself.
I actually don't think it's going to be much of a problem for Icewind Dale. I don't think so. For reasons I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
For reasons I want to tell you, but I'm not going to.
Because you're all going to die.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah.
Like I said, I will be keeping track of food.
I'm also expecting a welcome package, just as badass is not more.
You are not gonna get that. I'm just telling you.
You're gonna get a postcard, maybe.
What you're gonna get is a piece of bison liver that I do expect you to eat, much like how Leonardo DiCaprio did for The Revenant, because you're gonna be experiencing the same thing. You're
gonna get a snowflake. If it's melted when it gets there, well, that's too bad.
Yeah, that means you didn't make the cut. It's just me on Roll20. It's like, so are we ready to start?
Oh shit. But yeah, no, I mean that'd be cool. Which leads us to our next point. We can enhance maps by removing certain things and having them in different layers to put in Roll20. But Andrew, have you ever tried to make a map yourself from scratch?
Yes.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
Oh. Well, tell us, how is it done? Because I'm a lazy piece of shit. I just buy them.
So there's actually a really great YouTube channel called WASD20, and it's all just about making maps for D&D, specifically world maps. Like the guy goes over like, oh, here's how to make a world map, and I tried it. Like I tried his methods, and it actually worked out really well. It actually, I don't know if I have the world map that I made, but it's
show and tell.
I don't know. I don't know if I have it actually.
Oh.
I don't know where it went. So if you're gonna make a dungeon map, I would say the easiest way to do it is either get a sketch pad of grid paper or hex paper, Robert. Like grid, or if you can find hex paper, more power to you. I wasn't able to
you can find it. They use it for chemistry, I think, don't they?
I couldn't find it at my local like supermarket.
No, it's probably gonna be like Amazon or something.
Yeah, either Amazon or you probably have to go to like Michael's or something like that, like a dedicated like craft store.
Yeah.
But if you're making a world map that doesn't adhere to any of that, okay, I'm gonna get a piece of paper, like I would say like probably a thick piece of paper, and get a bag of black beans. Not cooked black beans. Yeah, follow me here.
You open a can. This isn't working, man. My paper's all wet.
You pick it up, like the black beans are leaking through it, or just like beans, garbanzo beans, whatever. Just as long as it's a bag of uncooked beans, you take it, you get a handful of it, and throw. Don't actually throw it. Just like you take it, get a handful of it, and just kind of roll it onto the paper, and then you just kind of trace either through it or around it, and like boom, there's your landmass.
You did show me this.
Yeah, and then you have to think mountains are usually going to be where land masses collide due to tectonic plates, and then like rivers flow down from that into the ocean.
Mm.
So you kind of do have to think about like geography a little bit, and like if you're gonna make a mountain range, like there's honestly really neat tricks to like simple, easy world
Building.
world map making. Yeah. And it's just like really, if you don't want to do super high detailed like mountain ranges, just draw like kind of like a curvy line, and then just have like some lines like sloping down from it, and it kind of gives you that sort of like more like a Tolkien-esque
Yeah. Kind of
mountain range where it's like, hey, here's a mountain. You know, and then like all you had to do is like for like trees and stuff like that, just like have like, you know, a couple spikes, and like, you know, or maybe draw like a bit of like a cloud kind of a thing, and just kind of honestly just freehand it and just go where your hand, like follow where your hand goes kind of a thing. And it was actually a really like good, like I would say like meditative practice. Like I worked on this thing for like maybe like a couple hours, and it was fun.
Man, you should see if you can find that map. We can post it on the instant natural after.
Do you mind if I just get up real quick and look? Because I think
Yeah.
okay, all right,
I don't care.
I'll be right back.
Our viewers don't care, right, guys? Cricket sound. Cricket sounds.
Here's a shot of my crotch. But now we're ready to go.
Ah! I don't want to see that. Look at that chair. Beautiful chair. Blue. Gunji. So good. There's a mouse and a napkin. I hope the napkin is not what I think it is. And there's a sign behind the couch, the sofa, the love seat, the gaming chair, whatever it is. It says, a little weird is good. None of that. There's a light switch. Double light switch. Presumably, one is for the fan, and the other one is for the light. And a couple inches right to that, there's a door, white door, with a doorknob. Gunmetal doorknob. Now he sits down, put his headphones on, and moves the camera closer to him.
Shut up, I'm talking. I can't find it right now. I'll try to see if I can look for it.
Oh my god. All that dead air for nothing. We went from like 3,000 people to 4.
No, we didn't. No, knowing our luck, we probably gained a couple of viewers. And like, why is this guy just talking to himself? And then just it goes away. Because they always show up at the slow parts of the session.
It's true. It's like, okay.
It's always,
all right, guys.
We're like, how much is it for?
You can buy anything on page 197 of the player's handbook. Literally like 30 minutes of silence, people just looking through their books, and we went to like 24 viewers. I'm like,
what's the difference between hemp rope and silk rope?
Let me look.
8 gold, apparently. Yeah, no, I'll try to see if I can find it. I have a couple ideas, but I'm not gonna get up and like rummage live.
You should send me that link though, because I kind of want to try that. Because I've tried the one I've done. It's Incarnate. I don't know if you tried that one.
Incarnate's good too. That's also a really good one if you want to do like computer generated stuff. You can, like, put it on.
It was a lot of fun. I had a blast. I made like a small little island town with like a couple cities and mountains. It was very effortless, really.
The biggest thing I learned about making world maps, like I said, just follow your hands. Like, let them just do it.
Yeah.
You know, don't try to like, oh, that's gotta be like.
Well, I was watching the making of The Witcher 3, and they were talking about the world building, and they pointed out something very interesting about their process. They built, like you said, they built the ground, like the basic topography of it, right? But then to put the towns and the people and like everything, they started thinking about like how would a civilization actually develop, right? What is one thing that civilizations need? Water. So towns mostly just are near water, at river, the sea, whatever. They need trees, but trees near the town are probably gonna be chopped off, you know. And then in the town, what do they need? They need food, entertainment, all this kind of. And that's how they build. That's how each town in that place feels so alive, because it makes sense. It's not just like, oh, there's a town in the middle of the forest, none of the trees are cut down, yet all their houses are made of wood.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you really do have to think like in terms of logic. And if it is going to be something, it's like, oh, there is a town in the middle of the forest. Okay, like, well, what are they doing to be self-sustaining? Like, what what are their methods to
Right.
obtain food and water without damaging the environment. It could
Right.
be something like good berries. We just live off good berries, and
That could be
you're not.
interesting, and that's the type of stuff that I notice players actually attach to. You know, when they find something quirky about a town or a place or a dungeon or a mountain that they've been to. You know.
That's why that's why the Sword Coast is like the main thing of Faerun, because a lot coastal towns are a thriving place of like
You mean
business
you mean
and
the remember realms?
yeah, the oh wait, I didn't forget about this realms. But no, that's why I mean that's why you have like Baldur's Gate and Waterdeep and stuff, and they're all on the coast because that's the melting pot of like all these things needed to survive. There's water, there's like there's imports and exports kind of stuff. There's resources and stuff, and that's yeah, and it really is, and that's honestly one of the coolest things where it's like okay, it's a frontier, it's a frontier town, or it's like a town in the wilderness. What are they doing to survive? Like
Right.
how are they not resorting to cannibalism? Maybe they are. So I mean,
These guys have the shakes. Why are they shaking so much?
I mean, so that's always something that's been really fascinating about world building for me, is like coming up with like the imports and exports, like something like people will never ever explore.
They will never even question it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh
So-
man, so I can't wait for them to figure out what this town actually imports and exports. They're like, oh no, I don't care about that. They never
yeah,
touch it.
they're like, where's the biggest dungeon? I want to find it. It's just like a barbarian like clacking a sword against the wall. Like, no, that's not.
That's not how it works.
Yeah, he's doing it. He's doing it.
How about if you're a lazy piece of crap like I am, and you don't want to make them? You want to spend the time.
Okay, so there are like Kevin mentioned before, there are a bunch of Patreon artists that make maps. I'm personally subscribed to Neutral Party. He, she, they. I don't know if it's one person, mini, or or what gender they are. They're making quite a good amount of maps, and there's a ton of other Patreon artists as well. But if you want to like kind of get like okay, where do I go to look for these guys? There is a subreddit called r/battle maps, and all it is just maps for Roll20 or D&D or what have you. And you can print out, or you can find them. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna be either from a Patreon artist, or someone's like, "Hey, this is from a Patreon artist. I'm buying from them. You should probably subscribe to." And that's where I that's where I found Neutral Party, and I think that's also a really good resource as well. Also, if you're looking for something really specific, you can just Google like such and such map D&D.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10 you can pull up something.
Yeah.
Again, you're probably gonna pull up the Patreon page, but that's fine because you want to give these people your money. It's a fucking dollar, people.
Yeah. And I wanna. You gave a shout out to what's the name? Left of the party. What? The
Neutral Party?
Neutral Party. I want to give a shout out to Pogs props, and his Patreon, because that's where I got all my Descent into Avernus maps, and he's done it for. I think he's actually doing an Icewind Dale right now. He does them per adventures, so he like, or she or they. What it seems like they do is like they read the adventure and they make maps not only to the ones that are in the adventure, because in the case of Descent into Avernus, they enhance the sketch to more illustrated type, but also all the other ones that are just roleplay and theater of the mind only type maps, he makes, or she or they make maps for them for that.
Yeah, I think if they're doing that for Icewind Dale, I think what they're doing is that they're just making extra maps. Because if I remember correctly, the maps on Icewind Dale are pretty detailed. They're not like the sketch type. They're oh god, I threw up my mouth a little bit. They're the they are the high res.
Oh, okay,
maps.
okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think his latest project right now is Dragon Heist. Funny enough.
That's not gonna save that adventure.
It was just me, Andrew. Okay, the adventures are bad. I just ran it like shit.
I think it was. I don't think it was just you. I think it was just us. like we were just like
You learned. You figured out that our group is just not about that.
I played a character that just liked to punch things. That was my problem. And we were supposed to be like investigating. I'm like, oh, I just want to hit stuff. Like always taking my shirt off to get into a fight and stuff.
Oh shit! Yeah, no, our group is not about that. But yes, there's tons of aprons. There's tons of Patreons out there that do excellent work, and please give them their money. Don't just like find somebody out there that has them all and puts them on a drive or something. Like,
yeah,
just
and please don't like copy and paste a Patreon's art and then edit out the name. Like,
right,
that's just really shitty.
Yeah, if you're gonna use it for free, at least leave the logo there so people know.
Yeah.
But yeah, artists are amazing. These people are just fantastic. But yeah, you can find them. Just Google it. You can find a lot of Patreons. The subreddit that Andrew mentioned.
r/battle maps.
Yeah, Andrew found for Baldur's Gate, for Barovia.
Come on. There we go.
He found a couple that he asked me. He's like, hey, can you make this look more gloomy? And me being the superstar graphic designer that I am, I put in a slider called hue and turn it down a little bit, and it worked.
Is that all you?
Oh wait, no. I also looked for like some fog stock photography and put it on top of it.
They just layered over it. It's just like in the trees, like with like a opacity of like 5% is you like.
Fuck you, Andrew.
Making me do this extra work. It took me all of 5 minutes.
Less than that, bro. Oh shit. Whew. Our next point, but I think we kind of went over this was inaccurate maps.
Oh man, I would love to have like an actual. Okay, so Avernus has a really. Sorry, I hit my mic. Avernus has a really big inaccurate map with the caveat. It's like, yeah, the guy that made this, he lost his fucking mind. like actually went insane.
Sylvia gives you the map. It's like, oh, here's a map of Avernus. It would be really helpful. Oh, by the way, the guy who made it went insane, and it's not totally accurate. So good luck. Bye. Poof.
And by not totally accurate, it means not accurate at all. Like there have been some places that are like that looks like they're days apart on the map, and it's like half a day's journey. But then there's some parts that's like it should be right there, like visible from where we're at right now, and it's like a week away. But I think that's great because one of the things about maps, even like in the real world today, is that they're inaccurate.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they're obviously they're getting better and stuff like that, but they're still inaccurate. Like, I think that'd be great to have like, oh, here's a map of like a town, and it's like, wait, the map didn't show that there's a dragon nesting in the middle of it. I'm like, well, the map was made before the dragon showed up.
Yeah, yes, exactly. That's the other thing, dude. Like, we didn't even think about, like, worlds evolve.
Yeah.
It doesn't stay the same forever. Like, oh, this map is dated 100 years ago, but it seems pretty accurate. Let's use it. Well, there must be things there that are not there anymore.
Where's the bridge? Oh, the bridge fell during the battle that happened literally 2 days after this map was published. So don't know what to tell you, even though it was like 700 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Deal with it.
Oh, dude.
Or like, what's up?
Sorry to interrupt. Kevin just said dynamic dungeon. He just sent me the Patreon to it. They move.
What do you mean they move?
They have like the trees weave and like the light flickers and the waves of the water move.
Send it like.
Now
I'll look at it
Kevin, later. Is this
Is this
Can you use this in Roll20? Or is it because I've seen a lot of people who using it in like their TVs, in a table, like they put the TV on the table and the figures on top.
Oh man, if you wanted to see if you thought Roll20 was crashing before,
well, there is an option to put a dynamic background, but I think you have to be subscriber plus like the next tier that we're not. Because I thought about it, I was like, that looks interesting. Oh, it's for the TV, dude. These are cool as hell.
Are you gonna send me the link, or are you just gonna?
No, Andrew, you're gonna just sit there and wait.
No. You were totally happy with your sketch map.
Go back to your sketch maps, Andrew.
Oh, okay.
Dude, these are cool as hell. Thank you. I'm gonna see if I can like find a way to put these on Yeah, he says, I'm not sure about Roll20, but you can... Oh, in Foundry. Dude, I've been... So, for some reason, you know the whole debacle between, like, Roll20 and Foundry? Like, a lot of people, like, between those two.
Right.
I hear that Foundry has, like, a lot more things to use, right? Like, a lot more settings and stuff to play with or whatever. But I've invested so much money into Roll20 already that moving to Foundry, like, apparently it's more stable. It, like, works better in certain things. Damn it, Roll20, you just stepped out of your fucking game.
Yeah, I mean,
give me dynamic backgrounds.
That's honestly the big problem, is because I have bought several books
Same.
on Roll20.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, shit, you're kind of paying me in a corner here.
Yeah, but Roll20 is not bad. It's just sometimes, woof, you just want to, like, you know?
There has been some times where, like, Roll20, like, hiccups right at the perfect time to kill the kill, like, the mood or something like that. But I will have to say, Roll20, if it wasn't for Roll20, we wouldn't be playing D&D at all.
Yeah,
so,
for reals. Yeah.
I mean, but, you know, gotta give credit where credit is due.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Kevin, for that. Dynamic Dungeons, S-Pug props, and what's the one that you like, Andrew?
Neutral Party.
Yeah, Neutral Party. If you guys haven't checked those out, make sure to check them out. Give them their money. It's not a lot. Patreon stuff is like $1 and you unlock like 1 billion different assets. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm not gonna have an issue with that.
Yeah, let me tell you, I've never had a moment where I've looked at my, like, credit card thing. I'm like, shit, if I never gave him that $1, I would have been able to.
Right,
no.
Yeah. So yeah, helping your local artists is always a good thing too, for sure.
I mean, there was a moment in my life where that $1 would
Yeah.
have made a difference, but that was long. That's long in the past.
We've all been there at one point or another.
I check my bank account. I'm like, yes, I still have 10 cents in there.
But yes, there's plenty of places where you can find them. But yes, we were talking about inaccurate maps. You know what I wanted to do with the map, and I don't know if I'm still gonna implement it. And anybody who's playing with me listens, because the map itself is weird, right? It's inaccurate, and it's not really a spoiler. It's surprising that you guys haven't figured it out. The voice that you guys hear every time you arrive in a new place is the voice of the cartographer who made the map.
God damn it. Is that really what it is?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
What? So,
to be fair, there's not a single point in the whole story where it's like, oh, you met the cartographer type situation. You know?
Oh, so it's not like a big reveal, like,
no. It's
time.
No, it's just there. It's like it just says things. Yeah. So one thing I wanted to implement is like, oh, what if I make like the map itself like magical, and like you guys a way to get from one point to another, so you just like fold the map and touch the points.
I thought you were talking about like make it magical, make it talk like the map from fucking Dora.
No. But like, you know, like you're from this side of the map to this side of the map, and then like if the players figure out that they can fold it and they touch it, they literally teleport to that side of the map. But that will take the, you know, the traveling part out of it. So it's kind of like,
it wouldn't. I would. There could be a mechanic you could do where it's like, oh, you can try to jump the map, but there's like a 1 in 5 chance that like, or like a 1 in 20 chance that something could fuck up. Right. So every time you do it, like roll a d20, you roll a 1, haha, feeble mind.
You all appear in the middle of this one, just
the orb of confusion.
But yeah, no, the Avernus map is super inaccurate. I love it because I love describing like, oh yeah, it's like right there, right down the street, and like you keep dredging and it's been 3 days and nothing's changed.
Yeah. 20 miles my ass. But I think it'd be really cool to have inaccuracies on like a global scale where it's like, oh yeah, it's a straight shot from here to Candlekeep. What? There was you mean to tell me there's a chasm here now? Ah, shit.
Yeah, I mean, bro, this world has giants, dragons, huge, gigantic creatures everywhere. You're gonna tell me that there's not like random destruction since the last time you went to Candlekeep?
Or be like, oh, we have to go around this mountain range. That mountain range was a Tarrasque, and the Tarrasque is gone now. Yeah. So we went all this way for fucking nothing. We could have just made a straight shot there.
But you don't notice it until you get to the other side and you look left, and it's like a big gaping hole. Yeah. Like, and you see the sea you came from, like right down the street.
And they're just like, hey. or be something like, okay, we have to go through this mountain range. It's a Jurassic situation. Like, if we have to go through this mountain range, prepare like winter gear and stuff like that. But now it's like a beautiful valley. So like,
Because of climate change.
So you're trudging through Napa Valley. You're wearing like heavy winter gear. You're fucking sweating and stuff. And just like, why'd you just take it off? Like, I paid good money.
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna
bought
wear
this
it.
shit. I'm gonna make sure I use it.
Just fucking dripping in sweat by the time you get there.
When you get there, you take it off and you're like 3 like size smaller.
He had to like peel the shirt off.
Oh man, that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, why not? We're talking about events where like a wizard used a spell to kill a god. Why isn't there like world-rending effects and stuff like that? So yeah, why not?
That'd be fun. I should make a point to implement that more in our games. You know?
I would.
Like
I think that would be a really good justification for like, hey, here's this little town that I made up an adventure for. Why is it on the map? Because shut the fuck up. That's
Oh man. Well, like now. Oh well. Don't want to say too much because Robert is listening. Spoilers. Anyways, because he's gonna play Avernus and eventually.
Okay.
Yeah. Final thoughts, Andrew? The maps. Obviously, illustrated maps are way better than any other map ever made.
No.
And now dynamic maps.
Dynamic maps might take it. I wasn't expecting this third party to come in.
Bam! My maps move, bitch.
You mean to tell me the 2-party system doesn't work?
Oh man.
Oh
yeah.
shit.
Whew. I think what we learned really is that there's a place for everything.
There really is. Everything has a place and everything in its right place. Like there's a place for hex maps. There's a place for grid maps. There's a place for high detail hex and grid maps. Like so, there's a place for low detail hex and grid maps. You know, and
yeah.
I think my final thought is if like know what you're gonna do ahead of time. Like don't if you're gonna be playing Roll20 on a module, like make sure the maps look good for Roll20, or just if you're okay with the maps, stuff like that, you know. So just do a little bit of research.
Yeah. Be prepared for what you're writing. Now we are back to our my most favorite part of the show.
Session highlights.
I
would actually, I can just pull up the sound effect. You don't have to make it with your mouth.
I'm gonna make it with my mouth.
You don't have, okay.
Look, Andrew.
All right. Oh, look at little puppy. Anyways, session highlight. I would honestly say this is gonna be a rarity for me, but I would honestly say the entire session was a highlight for us, just from beginning, middle to end.
Which one?
Because the one we just played.
Really?
Dummy. Yeah, because like we were on the hunt for another demon grinder because we're like, hey, we can't do the sand glider crap. It's cool and all, quintessence, you put in a lot of work, but I want a V6.
Even a V8?
Yeah, it's not the same when I ain't got a fuel injected suicide machine. You're flooding it. Anyways,
2 miles to the gallon.
Apparently.
Shut up, Andrew. That's not how it works.
12 miles per hour, baby. We're riding in style. They'll never see us coming.
Anyways, so the highlight.
Anyways, okay, so we kind of like did our own little thing. Like, no, we're looking for a demon grinder. We can the demon zapper and crap that can wait. We're looking for a demon grinder.
El Terrell can wait. All the people dying.
People die all the time. It's all right. That's nothing new. So we're like kind of on the hunt for a demon grinder. So we're camping out in some dunes because I think Varric spied like a caravan of demon grinders like coming by. So we're like, all right, we're gonna jump one of them. We're gonna steal it. And they made like a wagon circle I'm like, oh man, it's great. We're all planning to like use our like dust of invisibility or something like that to get in there. And a Dwargar comes up behind us like, hey, do you guys want to go to the market that's being sold up? And I imagine when he said that, we all turn around, we're all like we're all like sunburnt, we got like the chapped lips and stuff like that. We're like a bunch of savages.
I almost forget about that. That was the very beginning.
Yeah. And my me thought was, oh shit, our cover's blown. We're gonna have to fight our way out. And no, it was actually just, man, things would have gone a lot differently if we did it like that. But it was actually just like a proper market, and there was a restaurant and a spa and a whole bunch of like a whole bunch of stores that sold, like I got tentacle arms from like a free sample. And then what's it? Quintessence tried to like get Orin wasn't there. He was sleeping in the crock pot. But Quintessence was like trying to convince some salamanders to make us another demon grinder, and we spent like 20 minutes haggling a price, and then they're like, all right, well, in about a month's time we'll have it ready. We're like, wait, hold the fucking phone. You never said anything about a month.
You never asked.
It's like, okay, look, dude, it's a fucking combustion engine that runs on soul energy. This is not, I don't just have one ready in the back. Like, we have to make this thing.
I love that. You guys were like, oh, this is how much money each one of us has to put in. Oh, and everybody was like, Quintess is like, everybody has to put in 350 gold or whatever.
Right? And like my brand new character that I was like introduced like 2 sessions, like, I have 10 gold. And she's like, why do you only have 10 gold? I'm like, because that's how much my background will allow me to have. I literally have 10 gold. It's like, no, you should have blah blah blah. Like, and then you're like, no. Ludovico has 900 something gold. You didn't ask him about the gold. He gave up the sword. You didn't say jack shit about the gold. He's like, all right, just walking off with a big old coin purse dragging behind him.
I didn't even think about that until that moment. I'm like, wait a minute. Ludovico made up with a bunch of money.
Yeah, he's probably fucking living it up in Elter. He's like, bunch of suckers.
So yeah, you guys are trying to like put all this money together, and then Quintessence like dumps all the money on this guy's desk, just piles of gold. And then the salamander's like, "Oh, okay, it'll take like four weeks to get that done," and everybody just like stopped.
Wait, what? And what's funny is that the salamander's like, no, we don't trade in soul coins. Like, that's just not something we do because it's really hard to like find a currency for it. And the next hit over was like, hey, I trade soul coins for gold.
But the thing is that you have to do it.
And we were like, that fucking salamander put us on. Like, shit. He just didn't want to do it.
And the thing is that each soul coin is worth like 100 gold pieces. And you guys had like 8 or something.
And then there was one guy that was like selling like a bucket of grubs for a soul coin, but you can exchange grubs for a soul coin. And like I think it was Alex was like, how does this guy do business?
It
like,
made no sense.
That's not how exchange rates work, man.
It made no sense, and I love it.
Oh god. But my personal favorite part, there was a low point where I made fun of some dude's face, and he like stopped doing business with us. So I was like, I actually felt bad. So I just went and I got us a table. I got us a table at the restaurant that was there because there was like an actual full-blown restaurant in the middle of this place. So I just imagined for like a good portion of the while we're in the market, I'm just holding one of those like little table buzzers that light up, and then they're just like, oh, table's ready, let's go.
Yeah, pretty much. They made you sit in the corner essentially.
And like Glyph was like, Armando, shut the. I mean, no, Glyph, Armando's character was like, Karpak, shut the fuck up. Like, you don't get to talk anymore. I was like, okay.
Oh man. Oh, Jesus Christ.
And then there was like a pretzel stand. It was like straight up Aunt Annie's like pretzel stand. Like there was like the sweet pretzels, the savory pretzel, and lemonade.
What I love about that is that the guy who was in charge of it was a fucking gelatinous cube.
And like the little hands like came out and made the pretzels and stuff.
Just threw it in the machine and just waited for it. I just imagine this massive Goliath, a freaking Warforged, and an orc just in front of the Annie's pretzel thing, just looking at the pretzel being made.
So that's how they do it. No, what's funny was that I only had one soul coin, and I wanted to buy like everything, so I had to go to like Quintessence, like, hey, can I borrow a soul coin? I'm good for it.
Whoa, man. What I love about that whole session is that I wasn't planning on showing you guys Mahadi's Wandering Emporium until later, right? Mm-hmm. But then you guys were like, I want to hunt for a what's it called? For a demon grinder. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I described the caravan of demon grinders that is coming by. What I was expecting you guys to do was to run away, right? And eventually it's like, oh, it's not following us anymore. And then you see them parked. But no, you guys like, we're going to steal one of these guys. And I'm like, oh, God. Oh, God. So like and then when they park, instead of looking to see what they were doing, which was setting up the tents and putting up the sign,
we just immediately began plotting. Yes. we became pirates in that like 10-second window. We're just like, all right, we're gonna
like
not even tonight. We're gonna slit their throats.
The other thing is that when I described it, I told you guys that you guys are behind the dune, and all the thing that's popping out is your sail from your sand sail, from your sand glider. This Mahadi is just parked next to it, looks over to his right, looks over the dune, and there's just a sail.
Well, it's not even that. It's a sail, and I think we rolled like bad stealth checks.
You did so badly. Yeah.
So we're all just kind of like ogling over the sand. Again, it's desert heat. We've all been kind of fucked up from the fight beforehand. So I'm justified that we're all like, we're all not entirely there.
But it was great. It
got scrambled a little bit.
It was all essentially just roleplay last session until the very last bit.
Until like the very last like 10 minutes of the game, and the moment we split the party, things went south. because me and Varric were like, okay, we're gonna go check. Okay, hold on. We had. There's a lot of context. I'm sorry. I jumped like 3 chapters. Okay, so there's this thing called the Demon Zapper, and there's a thing inside the Demon Zapper that I personally wanted to free, and everyone was like, okay, yeah, that might be cool. So then there was a thing that showed up, and I like how you described that the thing that's protecting the Demon Zapper is like doesn't actually care about it. He's just like, whoa, this is my job, man. Come on. and so we're like, okay, the guy told us we can find this person named Red Ruth in the bone brambles, which is like this forest of bones, pretty fucking metal if you ask me. so we're in there, and we're in the bone brambles, and Quintessence and Glyph, the Warforged Artificer and the Bard, go one way, and myself as Karpak and Varric, our Orc Samurai, went another way, and immediately shit hit the fan.
Like legit, as soon as you guys like, okay, it was like really late, and there's like a couple of things that could happen, and most of them are like, oh, you see this, kind of cool, ooh, what's gonna happen next type situation, right? Mm-hmm. That's why I was hoping it was gonna end, because it was a very high probability that that's what's gonna happen, and I was like, oh, it's really cool description. All right, guys, let's end it here early. It was like what, like 9:45 or whatever. Mm-hmm. Nope. Freaking, I'm like, Glyph, you found a dead end. Roll me a d4. And then he rolls the exact number that is like the biggest thing that could happen. I'm like, shit.
So 3 shambling mounds pop. Is it 3 or 4?
3. It was 3.
It's 3 shambling mounds just pop up out of nowhere. And I describe my character as being like Like leave them alone for 10 seconds, and they.
But you can't see what's happening either.
No, so all I imagine is I would just hear Cliff go like, "Oh my god!" All right, Vera, come on, let's go.
Literally turn the corner, and all you hear is, "Oh my god, it's gonna eat me!
It's eating her, and then they're gonna eat me!" Oh my god!
That's exactly what happened. Oh, Jesus
man.
Christ!
But man, that combat was satisfying.
That combat was awesome.
It was satisfying for me. Probably not so much for Goliath, but
no. You guys, I think everybody got their good hits in. My favorite part, because I was like, I gotta end this fast. Spoiler alert: I wasn't gonna show her transformation until way later. But I was like, no, I gotta end this as fast as I can. I'm sorry. Here it goes. And it was little Lulu just kind of flying. It's like, oh my god, what's happened? He's transforming.
Blows up into a mammoth and just starts kicking the shit out of him. We're like, you know what, Lulu's got this. We can just kind of.
What I love is that she's a massive mammoth, but her wings are still the size of the one before. Yeah. And she's just going at this fucking shambling man. Making smoothie out of it, and everybody's just like under her, just like stabbing the other one next to her.
And it's funny because what's it? There's a part where like Armando was like, I want to cast Shatter, but I don't want to hit Lulu, and you're like, dude, Lulu can fucking take it. It's fine.
It's a fucking mammoth. The thing is that the token, because it has the multi-sided token thing that I did for you. So I switched it to it, but it was the mammoth token with the size of a human token, right? And I'm like, no. So I pull her aside and put the actual mammoth token in there to make it clear.
The big 4-space token.
Yeah. And like she just goes ham, and then like after the whole fighting is over, she like snaps out of it and turns back to normal, and she's just like, "Oh boy, what happened? I blacked out there for a minute."
Yeah, just Jiminy Tillikers. That was exhilarating. Like, what happened? And we're all just kind of like, we're all just like kind of like staying out of arm's reach from Lilith. Like,
what a fucking mess! Oh, Jesus Christ!
That being said, and I already told you about this. That being said, I am excited to be dealing with this Red Ruth because you told us that it's a hag, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am excited to be dealing with a hag in a non-combat setting. Because I've never felt like hags were properly implemented, or at least what I experienced, hags have never been properly implemented. Where it's like, no, you have to deal with the hag. You don't like defeat a hag. You have to barter with it. So like I'm excited to see how that's gonna work out.
That's not how they play out in Barovia.
Well, Barovia was different. Barovia, like you knew for a fact that like what the situation was. So by the time you guys went there, level 10, like fucking SWAT kicked the door down and just punching these old ladies in the mouth. Clear. Check your corners. Drop your weapon.
Fucking blast her out the window and just push her down to the floor.
Shooting fucking like tear gas like through the windows and shit.
Breaking all the doors inside with a big old like SWAT thing.
Yeah. Breach.
The door's already open. Breach anyways.
Barovia PD, drop your fucking weapon.
Oh man. Yeah, well, don't get your hopes too high. You put a lot of pressure on me, man.
I fear for my life. That's why I shot this old lady 37 times.
You mean you have to reload your clip like 3 times?
Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah.
He was resisting arrest. At which point of the bullet spray was it?
37 times in the back.
Oh man.
We could, Vesemir, we couldn't help but notice you turned your body camera off before you went to the window.
Oh my god. I'm gonna pay for this, am I? This next session.
No. I like I said, I actually want to deal with a hag in like a social
proper way. Yeah, it should be fun. It should be fun.
Yeah.
Whew. Anyways, any other highlights that you want to share?
No, that's pretty much it.
Fuck, dude. Yeah, no, really fun. So far, I'm having a blast with the Varnas. Any news?
Personal or like with
No,
the
in the gaming world.
not that actually I haven't really heard that much.
Yeah,
Did
the last thing was the on North Arcana there was a thing.
Oh, was there? Wait, did we already discuss Candlekeep Mysteries? I want to say we did.
We did, but we can go over it again.
Okay. No, that's all right.
We can go over it again. We can go over it again.
There's nothing to
We
go
can go.
over.
We can go over it again.
We already went over it.
Keep talking, Andrew. Keep talking.
I can't talk. I can't talk.
Oh yeah. So that's what it was. On Earth Arcana 2021, Gothic Lionish. How do you say that word?
Gothic what?
Lionish? Line Ages?
What? Unearth Arcana.
Sorry, my English is not that good. Here, I'm gonna send it to you through.
Gothic Lineage.
Lineage. Jesus Christ.
I was like lion.
Lineage.
Like, cause I was thinking like what's it? Cause there's like a lion like race in one of the Avenger books. I'm like, there's a Gothic version of the lion now. Like that's
well, there's
that's cool.
It features 3 new race options: the Vampire, the Hexblood, and the Reborn. Excuse me.
So it's Gothic.
Yes, it's very Gothic for all our Gothic boys.
So it likes to listen to like the Twilight ad and shit like that. And
they should do Hawthorne Heights.
Oh, God, why did you remind me that band existed?
Hey, I had a friend who was friends with him. Anyways, but yeah, that's like the only thing. I mean, other than that, the main thing right now that we're all waiting for is the Candlekeep Mysteries. Super excited about that.
So this looks like it's just like spooky races.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
Which I'm pretty sure a bunch of Gothic people are ready to jump on that.
They're getting pissed off and not getting represented.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? There's the drow. They avoid the sun. It's literally what you guys are all about.
But yeah, no, I mean, I don't think I have any other news other than that. I wish I knew more about Magic, because Magic is like popping everywhere right now.
I wish I cared more about Magic.
Same, dude. I tried. I even have like a bunch of sets and stuff, and it wasn't my thing. I think you have to be there from very early on. Leia.
Like card games just aren't my thing. Like they just like I don't know what it is about cards. It's just like when I see cards, like my eyes just glaze over. So
now Yu-Gi-Oh though.
No, not even Yu-Gi-Oh. Not Yu-Gi-Oh. Not even Pokemon. Like none of that stuff. Especially if it's normal cards. Like you know, like the suits and stuff like that. Just like
nothing.
Nothing. Card games just don't do it for me. I have no idea why.
Oh.
Dice though. If I hear the clickety clack of math rocks, then I'm all in for it. But
yeah, I don't think I have anything else though. That's gonna be it for this episode. So maps.
That's actually gonna be it for this episode. It's only been like what, 2 hours?
Probably. I don't know. Let me see.
It's getting pretty close to that.
Oh shit, you're right. Anyways, thank you everybody. That's all the time we have for you today.
That's all the time we have for you today. After I found out how much time we went,
yeah. How much time over we went. See, and you wanted to do more episodes at a shorter time. I'm telling you, this episode.
Okay. Listen, yeah, the maps episode, the one we've been talking of since like day one. Oh yeah, no, it's not going to be a 45-minute long episode. But when we talk about like fucking kobolds or something, no, that might be a longer one.
Yeah, see. But yeah, no, everybody who is watching and listening, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure being here for you. We talk about maps. I hope you learned something, especially with the great artists that we mentioned here. There's a place for everything, but illustrated maps are far superior to grid maps, to hand drawn maps.
All right, this is what we're gonna do, huh?
But there's a place for everything now. That one of them is the trash. You know, it's a different thing.
Next time you like try to build up an NPC, I'm just gonna attack it. Just like,
No!
oh, welcome to Mahadin's Emporium. Okay, I'm gonna roll to attack. What? And I'm raging.
No.
Yeah, no, I can do it.
No, don't do it.
You forget the group I played with. I know how to fucking ruin a game.
Please don't. Yeah,
I'm reformed.
I hope you guys had a good time, and make sure to join us. We have episodes every other Wednesday on our podcast. Anywhere that you listen, I think we're on it. At least I spent like a whole week putting our podcast and everything. But we do play live every Wednesdays also at around 6:30 to 7 on twitch.tv/a talk of opportunity.
No. We start 6:30 to 7. We don't play from 6:30 to 7.
Right. Sorry, we start 6:30.
Right, roll for initiative. Go. Okay, no, that's it. Your turn's up.
Yeah, we play till around 10. But make sure to join us and have a good time. And sometimes we read our comments, sometimes we don't. For some reason, today worked fine, but sometimes it doesn't show me the comments until like after we ended the stream. But
naturally,
yeah. With that, thank you for joining us. Give us a like, a review, comment, anything, share us, subscribe, the bell notification thing. This episode is also going to go on YouTube. We want to be rich one day and have money. With this much talent, it might happen one day.
We are so well versed in living in a fantasy world that we're like, fuck it, we can bring some of this energy out into the real world.
Oh man. But yeah, let's end this episode. See you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.
2 weeks. Oh yeah.
For the podcast.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.